So T.S. Madison just sat down with Jason Lee on yesterday for an interview, and we got a lot here to unpack. Is y'all ready to jost? Get your water, your tea, your drinks, your liquor, whatever you need to get. Because, girl, we got a long conversation to have. Let's jost.
Come on, Blazer.
It's the beef for me.
Wow, 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 for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we live.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Voodoo Doll TV back with another joke. It ain't gonna be a quick one this time because we got a lot to unpack. Alrighty, so let's get right into it because we ain't gotta waste no time. So y'all all remember all the drama and stuff that happened, in the past with T.S. Madison and Tasha K, because they, was basically picking sides because Tasha K sided with Jess Hilarious's response to some trans woman saying women don't own womanhood and periods and all of that. Y'all remember all of that, right? If you don't remember, all of that stuff is broken down in different videos on my channel. Please go back and look at them so y'all can know what exactly is going on. And then we could get into some things, into some teas, right? So, okay. Boom, fast forward. I put up a poll to see if we still wanted to talk about it. I had a few people say they wanted to talk about it and have a live on it, and at first I kind of was like, well, maybe it's fizzling out. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, T.S. Madison in this interview got me back up here talking about it again. Now, let's be clear. I do not promote a division between black people at all, period. I don't want us to be beefing and battling the gays, the trans, and none of that. We've been getting along just fine all the way up until now. It's just the intrusiveness for me. So anyways, T.S. Madison sat down with Jason Lee, and of course they talked about all these other things she was doing, the stuff with Gabrielle Union, all of the things that, T.S. was going on and all of the great, wonderful things. And then we get to the issue that we've been talking about all this time, her taking up for the trans woman. The TS taking the trans woman's side. And of course, she's over there backpedaling and pee-popping on a handstand. You know what I'm saying? Of course, because you realize your main support is black women. But ultimately, I just have some things to say because you wasn't keeping that energy in the very beginning. And she's going to get into why she didn't and talking about she went and did the research and all of that, which we don't care nothing about. All we care about is what we saw, and that's what we went with, the move. You know what I'm saying? We went with the move. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that TS is wrong for going through her research or whatever, but I am saying is if you're going to go through the research to understand the why, then you should have been very clear and concise in your responses that you gave. But anyway, let's get into this doggone interview so y'all can see what the hell was going on down there at the Jason Lee show. Y'all, I hope y'all got y'all popcorn, your liquor, your beer, your water, your juice, your tea, whatever it is you drink. Tell them churn, go lay down, put them in another room because it's about to get crazy. Now, the portion of the interview that I'm starting off with is the TS getting the BDE award. I know y'all know what that is. And I don't even know if that's really the name of it. I can't really remember, but I hear it when it plays. It's basically a big dick energy award because we all know TS has came out, I ain't gonna lie, since TS came out, she has always said that she had a 10-inch peen. I went and verified it on Pornhub. Don't judge me, judge your mom. I just needed to see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So she's getting the BDE award, and y'all just take a look at this and I'll come right back with my commentary.
In here he laid it on there?
No, he didn't lay it on this counter. Oh. But I actually love it. And Early Chopper's like my little cousin now. Yeah, he cool. Who else we give it to? Well, we gave it to Blueface.
I seen his on the sex tape.
We gave it to Chloe Bailey because she got big dick energy.
Okay.
But you're the first trans woman to receive it. And the reason why we're giving it to you, besides the fact that you've been very open about your past with bigdickbitch.com.
Yes.
You're so open about your genitalia, which is not even a part of the trans identity, right?
I mean, it is a part of the identity for, listen, everybody, we as all people are not a monolith, and most definitely as trans people, we're not a monolith. Like we don't share all the same views, opinions, and ideas on things. And so I've been very vocal about. I told you they met me at the door naked.
Yeah.
Tita said, "Come on in, bitty bitch. On New Weed 22." That's how people met me naked. I've always been open about my body. I've always been open about my genitalia, and I've always let people know that I'm connected to all aspects of me, and
happy.
And happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I don't want to ever get rid of it, and not because I've sold it a lot of times, because it's not for sale.
You've been open about sex work in the past. You've been open about porn, and that's the thing that people can't take your power away because you owned it all. TS was on the Hollywood Unlocked podcast years ago talking about not wanting to have reconstructive surgery, not to remove the penis. So why is it still a conversation though?
Well, it's a conversation because, people say that you're not a real trans person until it's done. And you don't get to dictate what a real trans person is or what a real transgender.
You can't say dictate right there.
You can't dictate what a real trans person is or a real transgender woman is based off of sexual
body part, genitalia,
because transitions begins here. Mm-hmm. It begins here. I had already transitioned in my mind when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I'd already transitioned. I already knew that I was connected with both spirits, in my feminine and my masculine spirit. But my feminine just might be a little bit more stronger than my masculine. My masculine spirit is my protector. Mm-hmm. Protects me. That's why I'm able to go dark.
Okay, pause for the cause real quick, because I'm going to come in and out, because this is a lengthy clip that I'm sharing with y'all, but I'm gonna come in and out to give my commentary. Let me just say this. Number one, now we see and we learn that there's even division in the doggone trans community, because you got these people who feel like the ones with the schlongs aren't a part of their community because they still have the schlong. They're basically trying to erase the schlong so that they can more easily accessibly say that they are actual females and or women, and that's not the case. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen one in person, or not in person, seen one in general. I Googled it. Listen, I am a researcher. Let me start by saying this. So if y'all get creeped out, this is an adult conversation, and I'm telling you what I went and did. I like to be educated on every single thing that people tell me. I don't want people to tell me I need to go see myself. I'm a see person. I'm from St. Louis, that goddamn it, the show me state. I mean, I'm from New Orleans, but you get what I'm saying. So listen, I went down there to the porn place, to the porn sites, and I went and looked it up to see what it looked like. Yeah, did watch a few videos, did a lot of research, and I did this. I want to say before all of this stuff popped off. I was just curious. I wanted to see, and let me just tell you something. As a person who has one that was naturally gifted by the Most High God, that is not this, and this ain't that. And let me just start right there. So the fact that they have this division within the trans community, which is a sub-community of the LGBTQIA+, that tells me that it's not that people are a monolith. It's just that y'all confused your damn selves. Because I know black people aren't a monolith, but what we do know is things that we can actualize and materialize are the same in most black houses. Things that black people can agree on for the most part, that identify the black community for the most part, some are stereotypes, are things that you can actually agree on, or most households agree on. So things such as black people love to cook out, that's facts. Things that black people know how to play spades, that's facts. Not everybody, but the large majority of those things that define us as a community are the things that we mostly, for the most part, the large majority agree on. Not everybody. Because see, I got to say that 35 times for the people in the back, the slow ones, who going to get up here and say, that's not true. That's apples and oranges because they saying that it's different because... No. What I'm saying, by and large, meaning the collective of us, play spades. Period. That's just what it is. So I'm saying that to say the division in the trans community on who can identify as trans based on the body parts that they claim don't matter is just asinine to me. That is just insane to me. I just wanted to jump in and say that. Y'all go ahead and finish listening.
But I feel like when you were on the Hollywood Unlocked podcast before, and even in watching all your interviews and you talking about it, this is where I got educated, because people think automatically because you're gay, you know everything about the trans community. And there's a difference when it comes to the white trans girls.
It is most definitely
because Caitlyn Jenner is a whole different.
Tell me what you think Caitlyn Jenner is.
A fucking mess.
A big athlete's foot having
just a fungus.
motherfucker
among us.
that got up in a dress and identifies as trans and is anti-trans.
Now, I'm going to say something that I don't want it to come off anti-trans, so tell me if I'm wrong, okay?
Just say it.
Okay. When I saw you, I saw a woman.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to always see a woman.
No, but I'm saying, because some don't all care about what they look like Caitlyn. Caitlyn ain't really making an effort to look.
But Caitlyn looks like a white woman. She looks like Janice Dickinson.
You know what?
She do.
Well, like like no moisturizer.
You know what
hair
Janice
thinning.
Dickinson look like?
Now, not Janice Dickinson, the supermodel from back in the day. No, now what she looks like now, like old,
Yeah, they look
hair
like-
falling out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Candace and what's it?
But I don't really feel like
Caitlyn's look like a real beat up, a real beat up version. A real beat up version
beat down.
of Cindy Crawford. A real beat up version.
Cindy Crawford look. Oh, okay, beat up version.
A
'Cause
real
I
beat-
saw Cindy not too long ago. Cindy, like been fighting Floyd Mayweather. Yeah.
Dukes up beat up version.
Yeah. Okay, no, but I feel like you smell good today too. What is that?
Eternity for women.
I feel like I don't know.
And my deodorant.
What's your deodorant?
What is it? It's strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
I wear female deodorant too. I wear Dove spray. It just stays on longer.
But it's strong enough for a man.
Yeah,
made
for me.
For a woman.
Well, it's
and
made
listen,
for me
I used to tell people all the time, I'm strong enough for a woman, but made for a man.
I can't. So the reason why I wanted to give you the award is because you educated me a long time ago that it has nothing to do with genitalia.
No.
And when people say to me, you're not black because you mixed, it's almost similar to saying to a trans person, you're not a woman because you still have a penis. Like,
Right.
I identify as black, I am black, that's who I am. You're a woman, you identify as a woman, that's who you are.
Well, I'm a trans woman. And I want to make it clear, I'm a trans woman.
But what's the, okay.
Well, a woman, see, here's the thing.
Is there a difference between being a woman and a trans, like, do you have to make the
I do.
proclamation that you're a trans woman?
I make the proclamation because that's a part of my identity.
Okay.
Every trans person is different. I make that proclamation because I want people to understand that my lived experience is completely different from any woman in here. Every female in this room has a different experience from every female in here, but they share the same experience. They have the ability to ovulate. They have the ability to birth. They have the
Abortion.
Well, they don't have that no more. Roe versus Wade is gone, and we fought about that.
But they fight
that's
about the wrong thing.
But that's another
That's
it's
coming.
Gonna be,
That's coming.
But each of these females in this room, they have a shared experience. I don't have that experience because I am a trans woman. So we have different lived experiences, but we still fall under the same suffix, woman.
So you may have different issues, but then also common issues.
Yes.
Right. But one struggle or one challenge don't take away from the other person's.
It does.
You think?
Yes, it does. Like I can only share the experience of every woman or female in this room, of her telling me how it feels for her to have cramps and for her to have a period. I can only take that in and think how that feels.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is when I talk to Mexicans who are fighting with, say, the government about kids in cages at the border, I can understand that struggle because I also understand in talking to black folks about reparations and slavery, right? And like the disconnect between people just treating human beings as human beings.
Well, let's talk about why Mexican people or not all Mexican people, but why would some Mexican people still be racist?
Or vote for Trump.
Right.
Right.
Okay, let me jump in right quick. You know what I'm saying? What I noticed in this interview is that Jason Lee is trying to dig that little knife in, dig a little wedge into this thing. Because first of all, Maddie is right now backpedaling. She's backpedaling and pussy popping. That's what she's doing. But he's trying to compare the trans women having their experience with us, real women, to Racism. First of all, he says, I'm biracial, but I identify as black. I got two things to say on this. Number one, a biracial person is just that, a biracial person. You're not one, you're not the other. That's why it's bi, meaning two. Number one. However, being a biracial person, I believe they have the right to identify with whichever one of those races they want to, because they have both in them. I do agree with that. However, my problem with this is, Jason, you're bringing up the fact that, it's just like, Mexicans, they are racist and they vote for Trump because Mexicans are white. You get it? They have black Mexicans, they got white Mexicans. Contrary to y'all belief, they have black Asians, they have white Asians. That's why the Asians and the Mexicans that we see, because they don't show us all the other ones, but the Asians and Mexicans we see look white, palm colored. You know what I mean? They just have a little bit of more tan to them, but they look palm colored. But at the end of the day, they are who they are. White people. Period, poo. Period. This is not rocket science. But I don't think that it's fair that they compare that experience to what we are going through. Nobody is being intruded on in this situation, as far as like the racist people. They're not trying to be black. They're not telling everybody, I'm black, you guys, and I'm gonna come into your house as a black person and take over everything, and now I'm black. They're not doing that. What this situation is there's a group of trans women, not all, I'm gonna have to keep saying that, because people still get down in the comments and pop on the handstand for something I did not say. Not all, but there is a group of trans women, okay, who are literally coming into women's spaces and trying to not only occupy the space, but take over like the men that they are biologically. You get it? Y'all, listen to the rest of this doggone interview. Oh, and by the way, before I get back to the video, you know why they hate Caitlyn Jenner? Because although Caitlyn Jenner came out and identified as a trans woman, even though I feel like that was something that a scheme Ty set up, aka the powers that be, nevertheless, the only reason why they don't like Caitlyn Jenner is because Caitlyn Jenner, although she is a trans woman, will get up here and say, I'm not a real woman. I don't think trans women should compete in women's sports. She goes against all the status quo that they're trying to push now. You know, that leftist ideology. And I ain't making this political. I'm just telling y'all what's going on. Let's get back to the interview, because this way it's about to get good.
Well, listen.
Knowing that they share the same type of, why would it be that?
And that's a good segue to go right into where we are now. So there was this conversation that is blown up online that everybody's seen. And I told people that I wasn't going to unpack it until I had time to really dive into it. Madison was out of the country enjoying Europe. And another friend of mine, Jess, was
I like,
somewhere doing whatever she was doing.
Let's get this straight. Who I like.
So this, what I'm gonna show you right now, is a video from a TikToker that I don't know, never have seen, and haven't heard of since. Went viral, and then Jess, comedian, and she's been a regular on The Breakfast Club, probably somebody that's gonna fill that spot. I mean, at least she was before this video. She responded, and this is what happened. Take a look.
What I mean when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
So once that went viral, that created a firestorm on social media. And then I saw a clip from Mona at Don't Call Me White Girl where she was interviewing Jess. And she said that Jess admitted that men have slid in her DMs and wanted to get with her because they thought she was trans.
Jess on numerous occasions has said that, men have, misgendered her. Misgendering is a part of transphobia. Women can, and so let's take it back just a notch. So after that video aired and Jess made that statement, which I felt was a blanket statement, and so the video that Blessing Rose, it was snipped, and they only put a segment of there. And when I saw the video, I was like, what kind of shit is that? Because I'm so tired, and I'm just gonna say this here on the show. I'm so tired of language and verbiage that's being put out there and misconstrued from other trans people. A lot of times when conversations are had and when it comes to different terms, those are terms that the black girls ain't doing that. The black trans girls, we ain't doing that.
Going back to the white trans girls have their stuff and then black trans.
But we not doing that because, we're still trying to catch up on being educated on this type of stuff.
But when Blessing said that, can we just break this down very succinctly? When Blessing said that cisgender women, which by the way has pissed off women too because they don't want to be called cis anymore. And we'll talk about why that is. We live in an overly political, sensitive world of cancel culture and everybody want to be labeled something. Right. When she said that cisgender women don't own menstruation periods and all that, did you agree with that?
No. From the context of which I heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this queen talking about now? And I got angry and I wrote under there, sweetie, or not, I don't know, I wrote, but I'm confused because females are the only people that can get period, that can menstruate.
Biological females.
Females.
So do trans women identify?
Woman.
Does trans?
You didn't hear me say woman. You heard me say female.
So transgender women don't identify as female.
No, I don't identify as female. No, I identify as a trans woman.
Okay, so you agree with that? So you agree with Jess's position that was bullshit?
I agree that Jess took what she heard because I also took what I heard out of context. Like, nah, what the fuck? I was over there like, why the fuck? And I was angry, like, why the fuck is y'all over here doing this shit now? We just come into some area of peace.
Is it because you knew it was going to create a reaction?
Yes, I always get mad like that. Like, we just come to some fucking area of peace and now this bitch over here putting this dumb shit out here.
And then you see Jess's response.
And I'm like, this is just what I thought the fuck the shit was going to be. Yeah. But then I took the time, because I'm smart. I took the time and I went and watched the entirety of the video. And I said, oh, Blessing was not talking about bio women in that status. Blessing was talking about trans men who were naturally born female that have transitioned into a man. And she was also talking about intersex people. And so then I understood the context of it, like, oh, got it. Everybody was caught up into the term woman. Trans men don't identify as woman. Mm-hmm. And intersex does not identify as woman. So when she said that you're not the gay cis people, meaning bio, natural born, that don't own.
But I thought she said cis women.
Cis women. Mm-hmm. Cis women don't own womanhood when it comes down to menstruation because it also applies to trans men and intersex. I was like, I got it.
Because trans men still have periods.
Yes, because they were born female. But they are not a woman.
Got it.
Now this whole portion of the conversation, y'all, I call cap. I'm sorry, I'm calling cap. Let me tell you why. And we can start from the beginning, right? She said she liked Jess. She actually likes Jess Hilarious, right? My question is, if you like Jess Hilarious, then why did you respond to her the way you did on the internet by saying stuff such as, I guess these real women getting mistaken, and I'm paraphrasing, for the trans women, you know what I mean? And it affects all women. Cap. Also, to be honest, y'all, I really believe the part that really hurt everybody was when Jess said, you'll never be us. You come from us, you'll never be us. That's the part that I really think getting up under their skin, because they're trying to make it seem like it ain't that deep. It is deep. It's very, very deep. Now, also, her bringing up that Jess said she's been mistaken for a man, because she never said trans woman, she said a man. Listen, black women have masculine features. We have the cheekbones. We have the nose. Some of us are tall. Some of us, we're not like Asian women. Most Asian women are very, very small and petite because their men are small and petite. I said this in another video. We as black women, and I'm saying black because I don't like to use that word, but we as the copper color indigenous people of this land, talking about America, we're going to have deeper features than others. So sometimes some women are mistaken for men. Just look at what y'all did Sierra, the singer. Look at what y'all did Megan Thee Stallion, because she tall. And these girls don't even have masculine features. It's just the fact that they tall. That's the ignorance of the black mind in America, especially when it pertains to black men. Now, I feel like that was disingenuous for Maddie to bring that up and be like, oh, well, she's already said it for herself, so that's how it affects all women. Transphobia affects all women. First of all, no, it does not. Why would Jess feel like that was a transphobic moment for her when she's not a trans woman? Think about it, y'all. Let's put on our thinking caps. As a woman, if somebody looked at me and said, oh, I thought you was a dude, why would that be transphobia? Number one, the first portion of the word is trans, which I am not. And phobia, meaning fear, does not come into play in that type of situation. It's cap. It's cap. Then she goes on to say that the black trans women and the white trans women they do different things. Hell, the black trans women is trying to catch up to what the white trans women are saying. Because listen, at the very basis of all of this, when it comes to the black and white trans women, it's the white men and the black men. Let's talk about it. I'm not saying it to be racist or nothing like that. Not racist. I'm not saying it to be, transphobic or whatever y'all gonna try to say in the comments. At the cusp of all of this, when you take the mentality piece off of the table, because according to Maddie, starts in the mind, according to Maddie. So when you take the mentality and the mental piece off of it, you're dealing with white men and black men. How does that materialize on our end, y'all? How does that look on our end in the heterosexual community? Who's in charge in that situation? The white men, correct? And the black men just assimilate. That's literally what they're dealing with in the trans community. My problem with that in the trans community is the black men, aka trans women, black trans women, are then coming back to the heterosexual community and trying to further oppress, as they've always done in the past, attempt to further oppress natural born women, and we ain't going. As black women, we ain't going. Let the white trans women do that to the white women. The black women ain't going. That's just facts. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care the way you feel about it. We will not be oppressed by a group of men, aka trans women, who are literally taking orders and getting their assimilating to the trans women of the white community, which are white men. We ain't going. We are not going. And I'm going to speak up on this till I'm blue in the face, and I'm black, so I know I can't turn blue. I'm going to speak up on it till I'm blue in the face. We ain't going. Period. Now, then you go to say you went out there and researched the doggone video. You watched the whole video and got it in its full context. Well, okay, Maddie, this is why I'm calling cap. If you went and got it in its full context, why wasn't your response according to that context? I'll wait. If you went and got the video in its full context, why didn't your response correlate with the full context that you received? Because it wasn't about that. At that moment, it was a black trans woman against a black natural woman. Period. That's what it was. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta call a thing and stop acting like it ain't what it is. It is what it is. And that is what it is. Y'all were trying to be divisive. Period. Because bringing up just being mistaken or any other natural woman being mistaken for a trans woman did not even need to be said in a moment where we're having a difference of opinion not even opinion. Let me back up. Where we have someone on the outside telling me what I gatekeep and what I don't gatekeep, and they don't even possess the things that they're telling me I can't gatekeep. Then finally, before I let y'all get back to this doggone video, then Maddie goes on to say, oh yeah, and that when I got the full context, basically, I guess the person name is Blessing. I don't know. I don't really care. But she was talking about, not just biological women possess, or the periods. It's the trans men and the non-gender conforming. I don't know what all of this stuff is. Let me just say this. Let's just say that was the case. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what this trans woman was saying when she made that comment. My question to that trans woman, aka that biological male, is what business of it is it of yours, to be jumping in on something that you have no parts in? See, we not about to play Batman and Robin over here. We not about to sit up here and make it seem like, oh, no. She didn't mean it like that. She meant it in defense of trans men and non-conforming, gender-conforming women. They don't need you to speak up for them. Trans men or women or trans men can speak intelligently and articulately for themselves. They don't need no trans woman, aka biological male, speaking on their behalf. And see, this is why it's a very ignorant thing for the first trans person to do, to even make the comment, because that is none of your business, ma'am, sir. That is none of your business. None of it. You had no reason and no stitch in the game to even say anything about that. But here you go, minding the other business that pays you. That don't pay you, If anything, let's just talk. Can we talk, y'all? Can we talk? Because if we really wanted to be true, and we really wanted to, if we was just that bored and we decided we wanted to stick our nose in business that ain't got nothing to do with us, because we don't even possess the things that, you know what I'm saying, y'all trying to sit up here and say and have an opinion on, why don't you go stick your nose up in the white trans women's business and ask them why they coming up with all this stuff that y'all gotta still learn? Huh? Didn't Maddie say the black trans women are still learning from the white trans women? Why you don't go over there and peg them and see, hey, what's going on? There's a whole heap of things you need to be dealing with on the white trans woman side. Don't come over here messing with us black women. We ain't called for you. We ain't sent for you. Leave us alone. Mind your business. And periods and womanhood ain't your business. Let me let y'all get back to the interview.
So I didn't even hear that part. Because I, like the rest of the world, react to clips.
Correct.
And so Jess saw the clip.
Yes.
And reacted on behalf of biological women. And tapped into the anger and frustration that some biological women may feel.
Correct.
And then in her response,
she made a blanket statement and said,
she grouped y'all into
we birthed y'all, we did this to y'all need to be a straitjacket, y'all.
No, she said the difference between you and mentally ill people is that you don't have a straitjacket on.
You don't have a straitjacket on.
And she then went a step further to say that you'll never be us, we created y'all.
Yeah.
Now, what I said in the small snippet on the Daily Drop was that was transphobic. And I wasn't doing that in a way to attack Jess.
No, what was transphobic was the straitjacket.
Yeah.
That was transphobic.
Really quickly, I wanted to jump in and drop a little research in here. So when Jess said basically the difference between you and I is a straitjacket or something of that nature, she was referring to what they used to do back in the day, or what they used to call this, which is gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria was an actual mental illness in the past. And the definition of gender dysphoria is gender dysphoria occurs when there is a conflict between the sex you were assigned at birth and the gender with which you identify. This can create significant distress and can make you feel uncomfortable in your body. Okay, so now that we know the definition, there's a little bit more to speak on. To further give context of the straitjacket comment, psychological treatments up until the late 1970s or up until the 1970s, it says psychotherapy was the primary treatment for gender dysphoria and generally was directed to help the person adjust to their assigned sex. Psychotherapy is any therapeutic interaction that aims to treat a physical problem. Psychotherapy can be used in addition to biological interventions, although some clinicians uses only psychotherapy to treat gender dysphoria. So what we see here is up until the late 1970s, they were actually using psychotherapy to treat gender dysphoria, to basically help these patients, basically. And, it's crazy because I don't believe that people who identify as something that they aren't should be in straitjackets. I don't cape for that. I don't think that none of that should happen. But I do want to point out that it was an actual condition. It was an actual mental health condition or mental illness. It just was. And so when Jess said that, that's what she meant. Now, when we get up to the 2019 era, Time Magazine wrote an article from the World Health Organization, or the WHO, that basically says the World Health Organization will stop classifying transgender people as having a mental disorder. Let's read a little bit of this article. So the very beginning says the World Health Organization, or the WHO, will no longer categorize being transgender as a mental disorder after major resolution to amend its health guidelines was approved on May 25th. And this article was written by Susan Haynes, May 28, 2019, 12:25 p.m. Now listen, I agree with this. I don't think that it should be a mental disorder. Do I think it is something mental going on to where you don't identify with what you see in the mirror? Absolutely. Absolutely. There has to be something imbalanced in your brain for you to see yourself as something that you're not. Like, for instance, when you think of people who have anorexia, who suffer with anorexia or bulimia or stuff like that, you see these people get down to like 70, 80, 90 pounds and they look frail. They look almost unalive, right? It's basically because their brain tells them that they're looking at something that they're not. So they'll see fat pockets that literally aren't there. They'll see things about their body that literally isn't there. So when they had this classified, gender dysphoria that is, when they had this classified as a mental health or a mental illness, I don't want to say mental health disorder, but a mental illness, it was because it was under the same concept in the same umbrella. So that's what Jess meant when she said what she said. Could she have had more tact? Absolutely. Could she have explained it better? Absolutely. But I feel like that could have been done on all sides. All sides, because I stand by the fact that this conversation should not have been happening with a trans woman who does not have anything that she's talking about. She doesn't have a period. A trans woman doesn't have none of the things. So it's not your conversation to have. But I realize how these people will say they went and researched and they went and did this, and then they come back with just bits and pieces and little bitty nuggets to keep the people emotionally charged. That's not cool. That's not cool, Maddie. And you know what she meant when she said the difference between y'all, because you're old enough to know that that was a thing in the past. Again, I don't advocate it for being a thing right now, but it absolutely was a thing in the past. That's what she meant. Let me let y'all get back to the interview.
And the mental delusion, and every trans person I think walking on earth knows that they are not, that they know that they were born what they were born.
But isn't it transphobic to say you'll never be us? Or you
too,
want what we got?
So before Maddie answers, I just want you guys to get these definitions, right? Because the transphobic word gets thrown around all the time and it's really disgusting. The definition reads, having or showing a dislike of or strong prejudice against transgender people. Bullying is commonly underpinned by sexist, homophobic, and transphobic attitudes, right? That's just the way they use it in the sentence. Now, the word phobia, without the trans part on it, when you define that, it says extreme or irrational fear or dislike of a specific thing or group, like arachnophobia, like the fear of spiders. Listen, everything isn't transphobic. Sometimes truth is truth and transphobia is transphobia. In this case, nobody is bullying, harassing, or doing anything negative to trans women. Nobody is doing, not black women at least. I'll just speak for black women. No one is doing that. So how come when we speak truth, not our truth, but the truth, why is that automatically identified or said to be transphobia? I hate that people came up with homophobic and transphobic, not because it doesn't exist. It does exist, but it's being heavily abused. We don't have an extreme or irrational fear or dislike of any group of people, especially black women. We don't have the grace and the honor too. We don't even have the luxury to have that type of fear or irrational, feeling toward trans women. That is not this. And I know a lot of people are going to hear this video and think that, oh, she full of crap. Y'all just don't like this or y'all just don't like that. We don't have an issue with trans women. We do not. We have an issue with trans women encroaching upon our space and then trying to run us. That's the whole issue. It's not transphobic. What she said was not transphobic, but I knew that was the part, that really hit home for everybody, or at least for the community. I knew that was the part that hit home for the community because that's the reality. And people today don't like reality. They don't like truth. They like their truth. That's why I hate using that term, my truth, because it's mine. But it's not the truth. It's not fact. It's not science. You know what I mean? And don't come up in my comments, I'm sorry, talking about, oh, well, they have hermaphrodites. A hermaphrodite is a biological issue. That means a person with two genders, a person that has two genitalia, one of each, which is not the same as trans women or trans men. You have a physical disorder versus a mental disorder. Those are not the same. That's all I'm trying to say. I just wish that we stopped throwing this transphobic word around so freely because it's really disgusting. Let's hear Maddie's response.
And well, that's with me, and this is just with me. It's a line with me because I understand that I will never be a female. There's no way genetically possible, even if I go and have an operation, I will never be a female. I know this. And 99.9% of the trans people know that they will never be the opposite sex because we weren't born that way. But we can be women. We can identify as women and we can identify as men.
I find that to be false because if trans women know that they will not be female and they are not female, then, because she said 99.9% of them know that they are not female, then can someone explain to me why they're competing in female sports? Just a little food for thought. I'll let y'all get back to it.
We can do that.
And identifying isn't based on having a period or being able to have an abortion, having a penis or a vagina.
No.
And do you think that lack of education just is the reason why there's so much
it is most definitely
transphobia and stuff out there?
It's most definitely a lack of education. And we skipped the part, Jason, where I made a post because after Jess went on that thing.
You did a post. This is the post that you put up.
Yes, there it is.
And this is the post where you said that
a
lot of
there
women.
Are so many. My exact words were there are so many women that get mistaken for transgender women. That this is where the anger stems from. And
these are words that Jess has said herself. That has happened to her. So it's not like you didn't say something that she hasn't
said. And I
said.
said that they have to understand that transphobia affects all women.
Now, did you did that post without adding Jess's name right after all this stuff was going on? Was that because you just wanted to add that so that way maybe she would see it and have some context?
I did, and I really didn't want to, You
didn't want to go at her?
I didn't want to go at her because I know the moment that I added her, it would have been like what it was. Then the Neighborhood Talk picked it up. And they put, she was being subliminal. And then I was like, well, it's not subliminal if it's true. It's not shady if it's true.
And then her response.
I'm the last one that you need to play with. Niggas in any form turn on you. And so that's when I crunk it up. And I crunk it up and I posted her, everything that I did, I laid her words down. Hers. You said this. And that's not the first time that she has said that she has been misgendered. And I didn't like the context in which she said it, like, the person thought I was a man. No, he didn't think that you were a man, Jess. He thought that you were trans, even though you came back and said, he thought I was transgender. But you led in with, he thought I was a man. He thought I was a transgender. No, he thought that you were transgender.
Do you think that that's a lack of education in her answer or being blatantly disrespectful?
It was being backing up her words. You'll never be a woman. You're a man.
So that's her in a way of doubling down in standing in her transphobia.
Yeah, because when you misgender, listen, I want to say this openly. I too have exuded transphobia myself.
Well, I used to say tranny. That's transphobia, right?
Yeah, right now. But because when you misgender a person, that is a part of transphobia. Because when you're misgendering someone, let's say we standing in a public place and all that, that's a man and she's trying to go in the bathroom and somebody wrestles this bitch down on the floor and she's a woman, but you've been messy saying that's a man because
or if we call Caitlyn Bruce.
Right. That's a part of transphobia. It might be, there's subtle parts of it and then there's extreme parts of it. I've done it myself by saying Wendy, Wendell, Bartholomew, Orenthal, Rufus Clyde.
Don't come for the queen.
Well, I've done it myself. You
have done that.
I've done that. And so I'm going to sit here on this couch since we're talking and take accountability for that.
Which I think is a big
I'm
deal.
a big person to
Yeah.
do that. Take accountability and say, I myself have been a part of spewing transphobia because Wendy's, those were masculine names that I was applying to her because she is a black woman that has masculine features. And so because I've done it, I've also been a part of displaying transphobia. And so my thing is anytime that you misgender a woman, whether they're biological or trans, that is a part of transphobia.
Do you understand her frustration?
I do, yes.
With the issue?
I do understand her
From the
issue.
TikTok video that she saw?
Yes, because I was angry too. I was like, bitch, why are you posting this shit up here knowing damn well that only females can menstruate and have fucking babies? Why are you doing that? But when I took the time to go back and watch it, because this is me as a person who's fair, because that's the Libra in me. Fair is like, oh, I got it. And I understood. Then I was like, okay, I understood what she was saying. I don't agree with the snippet and the way that it was put to the public. I don't agree with in the terminology that way, but I understood it and told her that, okay, I got it.
Did you understand biological women's issue with being titled cis?
I've been listening to it, and I have decided that I'm going to remove that when I'm talking about biological women. I'm going to remove coming from my mouth. I'm not going to remove it like from everybody else because that's whatever everybody else has the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. But I'm going to remove that from my vocabulary talking about when I'm going to use bio or real women for me because there's too many real important issues to be focused on than just what you being cis and this and the other. But I understand what cis means. It means on the same side of the opposite of trans.
But when did all these assignments come about? Like even with the
1994.
I am pronoun the fuck out.
But that's not a pronoun.
No, but I mean like I'm pronouned
this
out.
Is the thing. But see, cis is not a pronoun.
Right, no, I get it. What I'm saying is I was gonna group it all together.
Okay.
I remember the days where you were gay, bi, trans, gay, bi, trans, straight, male or female.
Let's keep it real, Jason.
I never grew up in the 90s.
You were only a punk or a dyke. Them the days. You was a punk or you was a dyke.
And before a punk, you was. I mean, people don't want to.
Then you was the punk or dyke. That was it.
That's what it was.
And so.
And where did we go from being able to just say that to cis, bi, trans, they, thou, them?
Because visibility happened, respectability happened, people were occupying spaces.
Non-binary. So now on your birth certificate, they want to say you're non-binary. How can you be non-binary on a birth certificate?
Well, this is just your identity. You don't adhere to the binary. You don't adhere to.
But
female.
isn't this just is it getting out of control, and are we to blame for it?
What's getting out of control is the lack of wanting to be educated on it and adhering to being knowledgeable on it and respecting. That's what it is. We still want to be in the space of being able to say punk and dyke.
Do you think what's happening right now with you speaking out, because you did the interview with Rolling Stone, you've been using your platform to have conversations about it. Do you think that Jess's silence is speaking volumes to her standing in her ego or lack of wanting to take responsibility or clarify what she said?
I think Jess feels attacked because it did come off as a space of because we did rile up. The girls riled up.
They did.
We got on our motherfucker because we tired of it. We tired of people that we love and support. And there were so many people, I want to look in the camera and say, there were so many of y'all that I saw that were my friends. They were like, oh, I'm standing with Jess. And when Tasha K came out and started doing all that trash ass shit to me and posting my passport and stuff like that and calling me by my dead name, which I've shared with everybody that my name was Timothy. It was at one point, but it's not anymore. And trying to do that to me, I'm with her because when isn't anybody going, because we women tired of this. We tired of going through this and the other. And that was an unwarranted attack from Tasha K. And she was grabbing for straws. She got 4 million problems that she got to try to take care of. And any click to help her make $1, that's what she gonna try to jump on. And so she was grabbing for straws. And instead of them seeing that, they saw it from a place of anger, like, yeah, get that bitch. Get him. Instead of listening and saying,
because we tired of the whole community anyway.
Yeah, we sick of them.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to me saying, hey, I agree with Jess with that when the girl said that from the context of which I heard it.
Yeah. But then Jess went further because her and Angelica Cross had words, and then she slid in her DMs and called her by her dead name, right?
Yeah, that was a lot.
But isn't that transphobic? If you call Angelica Cross Andrew,
Angelica Ross,
is that not transphobic?
especially if that's something that she's not using anymore. Listen, we all know that Joan Crawford's name was Lucille Faye LeSueur. We don't know that. We know her as Joan Crawford, and we refer to her as Joan Crawford because that's the name that she goes by. Anything else outside of that, she don't need to even answer to that because that's not her name anymore. You know, and so when you start getting to the space, Jason, we know you as Jason Lee. If you come out tomorrow,
but I had another name.
You had another name,
and I deaded that name.
And you deaded that name, and it's disrespectful.
And there are people who still try to call me by that other name, and
Don't
I'm
answer.
like, no, that name, he doesn't exist.
Yeah, don't answer to that.
And that right to be called what I want doesn't change because I also identify as trans. But they see it as an excuse to attack the trans movement.
It's very important that people understand that transphobia, like I said in my initial statement, affects all women, not just some. It affects all. Because 2 days prior to that, a biological woman was murdered because they thought that she was a transgender woman.
But that's what I don't think people understand. The black women and black trans women are like the most targeted women in the world.
Yes.
And that's like the similar connection that I don't see why people don't see that.
Well, because
like even with issues like Roe v. versus Wade being overturned and other like progressive rights that women have earned and fought for, that trans women are also champions of. We're like, why aren't we focused on those things that matter to the woman experience?
It is all a huge divide.
And distraction.
And distraction because the government is right there. And you think they're not online looking? You think that the people, that the campaign managers and the stuff are not online, ooh, let's put this on the ticket. Look at what's going on in Florida. Ron DeSantis is the devil. He is the devil. But he's also running off the ticket of, I'm going to protect you from those trans people. And those
He's
gay
tapping
people.
into the pulse of people who
Yes.
are anti-trans or anti-gay. And anti-black.
And anti-black. But listen, you don't see the anti-black because the top of the bill is anti-gay, anti-trans. And in the small print,
take the books out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds good to us online that are voters, because I vote. That are voters that actually see, you know, this stuff going on. Like, I'm so see, I need somebody that's gonna protect us from the bathroom.
Yeah.
I need somebody.
I need somebody who's going to protect us from my kids going into the bathroom and running into them.
And
but that's the same of, I need somebody who's going to protect us to make sure them blacks don't get in this school
they don't
that
hear
my
it like
kids
that.
want to get in.
You want to know why they don't hear it like that? Until we get to the point and the space where we can understand that you were born black and you were born gay, you were born trans, you were born this way. Until we get to that space in our mind that this was through birth, then we'll be able to understand that we're on the same front. But right now, people don't want to accept that because they're saying you were never born gay and you chose to be trans, you chose to be gay. So that shit, what you going through, you chose those. I ain't choose to be black. So anything that's happening to me because I'm black is because I'm black. And you like, nah, shawty, I'm trans and black at the same time, not separately, at the same time.
All right, y'all. So that's all I'm going to share of this interview because it's getting a little lengthy. But I do have some things that I did want to speak on before we get out of here. But before that, I want to employ everybody to go over to Hollywood Unlocked and look at this interview. It was actually a good interview, but I just find it funny that she's kind of walking back what she said, but still standing on her square. And I'm talking about Maddie. So she understands that Jess saw a clip and responded. And I think that that's very important because we can all sit up here and say, hey, don't just respond to clips, go do the research. But at the end of the day, that's not what we do, right? And so I appreciated that she understood that Jess saw a clip and responded. And she does also understand that Jess felt attacked as a woman. Thank you. I mean, I think that that's so important. I love the fact that Maddie said that, hey, I did misgendering as well by calling Wendy, Wendell, Orenthal, and all those names she used to give her. I used to think it was funny. And see, that's kind of the thing that we're dealing with right now. See, the things that Maddie is trying to conflate, like gender identity as far as trans women versus actual skin color and all that, you cannot put those two together. Those are two completely different things. Let me start by saying this. I do not believe that people aren't born with the mindset or born gay or trans. I don't believe that. I believe that they do have people who are born that way. I believe that. I will never sit up here and tell somebody you weren't born that way, because I don't know. I'm not inside of your brain, right? I just think it's very disingenuous to compare black trans people's struggle to black people's struggle, because at the end of the day, I know people want to say I'm trans first, or I'm gay first, or I'm this first, or I'm that first. At the end of the day, you are black first. You are black first. There's very similar struggles in the trans community that there for black women or black trans women as there are in the black community. Very similar, because we're all under the power structure of the white man, the palm colored man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just think it's so unfair that trans women are then turning around all their aggression that they should have on the white trans women. Because again, this is Maddie's words. They're getting their direction from the white trans women. The white trans women are the ones who are making the rules, not the black trans women. They are getting their direction from them and then turning their aggression on us. That is the unfair part. That is literally the unfair part. But I appreciate that she's no longer calling us sis. Thank God. Tell a friend in your trans community, stop calling us that, because we ain't going. Shout out to her and Jason Lee for saying they're not gonna call us sis, because that is very, very important. And don't say sis is not a pronoun. A pronoun is a word that describes a noun. The noun being the woman, the prefix or other word before that would be sis, which would be the pronoun. Sis within itself is its own word. It is a pronoun. So don't try to cover it up by saying it's not a pronoun. It is definitely a pronoun. We are not cis women. We are women. Now, I know some women out there might feel some type of way about being called a female. I've heard that before in the past. I don't know much about that. Personally, I don't care if somebody calls me a female. It doesn't affect me or offend me like that. But I think ladies, women, natural born women, I'm of the belief that at some point, if we don't stand up, that's going to be the only word that we have, female. And I think they're going to come for that too. I truly believe they're going to come for that too. But again, y'all go check out this video and check it out for yourself and see what you think about it. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. I'm interested in hearing a discussion. Again, this video was for educational purposes. It was not to attack, bash, or do anything to anybody negative. It is just to educate, because I'm so tired of them saying that we need to educate when they're coming up with new terms, new words, new everything. Every single time you turn around, there's something new coming up. We will never stop educating if we continue to educate. I believe that for my audience, I wanted to educate my audience on the facts. And some of the facts I went over in this video. And that's just that. It's not always transphobia, like I said. It's sometimes the truth. Just like it's not always racism, it's sometimes the truth. How can I put that in an example? The stereotype or the racial stereotype that black men do not, by and large, take care of their children is absolutely true. By and large, that is the truth. It hurts, it sucks, but it's the truth. And that's the same situation we're going through here with these trans women. You are trans women. Remember that. Trans women, you're not us. We're not the same. And that's okay. There needs to be a space for trans women and there needs to be a space for women, but the two should not conflate. Anyway, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all thought about this video, y'all. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok, and I'll see y'all hoes later. Bye.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.